Unexpected on KCRG TV9 is brought to you by Emergency Veterinary Service.
Thanks for keeping it here at midday. Veterinarian Allan is in with us today. If you have a question for him, 365-9999 is the number to call. We were talking about an interesting case you dealt with recently of a dog chewing through an electrical cord.
Yeah. Got a pretty severe electric shock, that particular dog, to its mouth, and the current wound up going through its eye, so it had some transient eye problems. That dog wound up being fine, but it did highlight the need for electrical cord safety. And some people will think that, well, the dog chews on cords from time to time and it turns out okay. If the dog bites hard enough, it won't turn out okay. So if you have a dog that's you've observed chewing on electrical cords, you need to figure out something to do about that, whether that's remove the cords that the dog tends to chew on, or find a way to protect the cords, or train the dog that electric cords taste bad. There are a whole bunch of different strategies, but if you see a dog chewing on electrical cords, it is something that you want to address and try and figure out a way to stop.
What are some other household hazards that could potentially be a problem if you're welcoming a new dog or a new puppy into your home, or even a cat for that matter?
The number one problem that we see is mouse poison. If you've got any sort of poison in your house, pick it up. The chemical mouse poisons are, while they're relatively effective, they're all formulated to taste good, and when dogs eat them, bad things happen. And actually we saw a dog, the most recent case of mouse poison that I saw was just 2 or 3 days ago. And then the other big thing would be prescription medications. Even if it's something that seems safe to you, by the time a small dog gets a hold of a pill, the dose is magnified proportionally based on the dog's weight, and we've seen some bad things happen when dogs have gotten a hold of what you'd think would be safe medication.
And if this were to happen, say overnight, you can't get the dog to the vet right away, is there anything you can do? Should you leave the water? Should you pick up the water? What should you do to try to help the situation?
Well, in general, water is always good, so I can't think of very many circumstances where I'd want to withhold water. Sometimes inducing vomiting, if a dog has eaten something that's poisonous, to induce vomiting. Hydrogen peroxide is what I'll usually recommend for home use. It's not as effective as what we use in the hospital, so I hesitate to tell people to rely on that. And there are other things to do, even beyond making the dog vomit, depending on how poisonous whatever the substance is.
And we're quickly running out of time, but Dawn is on the line with a very quick question. Dawn, go ahead.
Hi, doctor. I have a 2.5-year-old female cat that seems to have reoccurring cycles of heat, but she doesn't actually get pregnant. Is this a problem, or will this disappear or something?
Well, I guess it's common for cats that when they go into heat, they're induced ovulators, so they can stay in heat for quite a long time. And the number one way to solve that is to spay the cat. That works in most of the time.
Okay. Well, Dr. Berger, thanks so much for coming in today. And stay with us. We'll be right back.
Emergencies happen 24 hours a day. When your pet needs urgent care, the Emergency Veterinary Service of Iowa City is just a phone call away.
Take this to the lab.
We're fully staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Emergency Veterinary Service of Iowa City is the only 24-hour acute care clinic in Johnson County with state-of-the-art diagnostic, surgical, and critical care. Emergency Veterinary Service of Iowa City. Call 338-3605.
Hey